everyone, and today we have the Josefine Meets series, and today I'm meeting Kenneth Nel, who is a digital coach. Hi, Kenneth. So lovely to have you here.
Hey, Josephine, how you doing?
I'm good. It's actually snowing outside, so it's a little bit, I'm not some. Even though I come from Sweden, I don't really like snow, so it's a little bit chilly outside.
I'll swap you. You can come here where it's -10, no snow, any day for the snow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyways, I'm good. I see we have a couple of people watching already. So please add in the comment who you are. Sometimes we can see who you are and sometimes we cannot see who you are. I want this to be as interactive as possible. Oh, hi, Gavin. So happy to have you here. I saw you have a visualization event going on. I hope that is going fantastic. So by the way, if anyone is into visualization, you should probably connect with Gavin. And we have Christine here too. Hi, Christine. And we have Åsa in Sweden. I'm actually just adding a couple of the names here so that people who might join later on. We are streaming live to LinkedIn. We are streaming into the Facebook group, the Online Entrepreneurs Facebook group, and we're streaming to my YouTube channel with now a whopping 34 followers. They grows by the day. And we have Bodil Bergman Hughes. Hi, Bodil, happy to have you here too. So today's session is actually going to be about not the how-to, because many of us get a little bit stuck when it comes to the how-to. So we are going to focus a little bit more on the who. So if you have any examples, any questions that you want to bring on, please bring them on. I will bring a couple of my own examples because Kenneth and I, we just quickly connected, and I said we've spoken before, but today when we connected, I said, Kenneth, I saw the best offer that you had on your home or on your about page on LinkedIn, an offer that I would have almost killed for when I quit my corporate job. If I would have known you back then, I would have hired you immediately. But that's the thing, right? Before we get to that offer, that secret weapon that you have, because what I did then, I reached out to someone else because I was really insecure, and it was about stepping out of my corporate role, because before I was in a corporate environment, I had just started my coaching training, and I stepped out from a corporate, very strict corporate role, and all of a sudden I wanted to be this more creative person, but I didn't know how to show up as that one. What are your experiences, Kenneth, when it's been something that that you have stepped into a new role? If we got just add that a little bit to the mix here. I'm going to add a couple of more highs because this is so fun.
So while you're talking, hi to everybody, and hi to everybody. Great, thanks for joining us. I'm sure you've heard that we've had a 4-hour conversation before we jumped into this who and how. And I think the basis of what you're asking is, whenever I start something new, when I start a new course, a new learning, a new platform, the first thing in my head is always, how do I do this? And it's amazing how becomes a hurdle. Because if you're going to do TikTok, if you're going to do Facebook, if you're going to do YouTube, I mean, you've got 34 subscribers. That is great if you consider the fact that you've started, you're out there. There's people like me. I've got 3 subscribers because I really haven't spent time on YouTube. So I'm
the professional.
Yeah. So the thing comes down to, we always start doing how, and then what do? We go and attend a bunch of courses.
Yeah.
Because we want to know how. And our approach is always being, as an entrepreneur, as a corporate who steps into the world of, I can do it myself, you kind of take that mantle on and go, I can do it myself. You forget that in a corporate, you were part of a team. Mm-hmm. And when you needed something really arbitrary, like we had the conversation about the one gentleman I worked with, he left corporate and he couldn't change the toner on his printer because he had somebody who did that. And that was the how. And, that was my case. I went looking for, how do I do this? How do I do this? And then I read this book. It's a funny book. It's got this great title. It says who, not how. And I suddenly realized that my how was my roadblock. My how was stopping me from appreciating and unleashing my genius, which you might notice I like to use that because when I talk to people, it's about how I unpack their genius. And it all came down to the fact that I'm great at having conversations. I'm great at getting to know you, applying my framework, and like we were discussing earlier, finding those little tidbits that make your profile pop, make your message that you want to share your story with pop as well. But ask me to go and make a TikTok video, I'm going to run the other way.
You would be the wrong person for that. For
Absolutely.
now.
Yes.
For now.
And so I know I'm not the right person. And the book has a really amazing bit of philosophy. And he says, procrastination is your wisdom telling you to stop trying to figure out how and find a who.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing when you start looking out, because I'm now looking for who's. I've got this, one of my favorite authors is a guy called Jim Collins. He Built to Last, Good to Great, Great by Choice. Those are his books. And he always said, if you built a team for a business and the team is okay and the business fails, the team is broken. But if you built a team of the best people and you put them on a bus, and the business idea that you start with kind of needs to evolve, if you've got a grand team, that's going to evolve and succeed.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got an average team, it's going to fail.
Yeah.
So, but you. I mean, like we were talking earlier on, you said it's very often people go, great chat, let me go try it myself.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what you said in the beginning, where you said we come from a corporate environment, we are highly educated people. We also get kind of like bashed in, well, you should know this. And I worked in finance, I worked in banking, I was an accountant, etc., etc. And I have all of these kind of like skills and all these things in my backpack. And then you think, shouldn't be too hard to figure out, now would it? But there are so many moving targets, and I love learning, especially now that I get to learn whatever pops up. I really love learning. I also love reading books like you mentioned before too. But there is kind of like we can only learn so much, but if we take the help from someone else who's a couple of steps ahead of us, because the mistake I've also made when I've hired business mentors, for example, was they were sometimes 10 miles ahead of me, not 3 steps ahead of me. When we talk about someone kind of like pulling you with them, not doing the work for you, right? So there are two different ways of who, right? So if we split them, by the way, I had someone asking, I will miss the event, but I would love to check out the recording. And yes, this is recorded. You can watch it on LinkedIn later on. You can watch it on my YouTube channel. If you subscribe, I might get 35 subscribers. And it's also streamed live, and it's also kept inside my Facebook group. So there is always ways to look at the recordings afterwards. By the way, sorry. So I think we would need to split these into, okay, so the who, get someone to do it for you. And there I've also made some I would say serious mistakes that could have harmed my branding of my business. And then the other who, where you kind of, do you say piggyback, or is that a bad word? That you follow someone else who have gone the path before you.
So the term I use is accelerators.
Yeah, so, I know. Yeah.
We have massive influencers that are, as you put, miles ahead, and they've traveled this road for maybe 5 years. So they're so far ahead of us that there's very little resonance between what we need and where they are. But then you get your accelerators, which are closer to you. Those are the who's that you can hop onto their coattails and they can drag you along. Thank you, Rena.
Rena is a language expert, actually, so that is why I brought that one on. I will bring you other comment on Rena once Kenneth has finished his sentence. But yeah, so thank you, Rena.
So we can see the steps they're taking, versus the steps we've taken, and we can work with it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, lessons learned. You hire the wrong who, and I've realized that it's not the wrong who. We were just not clear on our success statement.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say to them, we need success looks like this, if we can't define success clearly to them, then they kind of put their own spin on what they think your success should look like, and then the end result is not what you want. Then
exactly, and that is actually valid for both these points when you hire someone. If let's, I outsourced Pinterest to one person, and I have no clue about Pinterest. It's like if you would do TikTok movies, right? So I have no clue about Pinterest. I had no interest in learning Pinterest. I just outsourced the whole thing, right? Turned out to be a very bad decision on my end. It could have ended really, really bad. I wish in these instances that I would have listened a little bit sooner to my gut feeling. I actually say, and this might be a little bit how do you say, politically incorrect. As an entrepreneur, we need to hire but also fire fast, because it is our branding, it is our business.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That is what we need to do. So Rina actually brought up another situation where she says there's also a situation with people like me who don't come from a corporate environment but stumble into a freelance profession. She is I would say copywriter. Rina is a copywriter, language specialist from academia or another environment. It's even worse for us because we have zero clue about business. I wouldn't say it's probably worse for you, because then you can ask all the questions, because you can say, I have no clue, I can ask these questions. And we would then say, can I really ask this question? Shouldn't I really know this already? Isn't it embarrassing to ask this question?
Wow. That's that just that whole thing there. I mean, Rena's term, I read it somewhere. I mean, we're accidental entrepreneurs. And basically what happened is one day we decided, oh, there's an opportunity, and we stepped out and we started our own business, but it wasn't really our own business. And she's right. I mean, I was arrogant. I mean, I ran my own business for probably 12 years before I thought or considered the need of a coach. Mm-hmm. Had I had a coach sooner, I would have probably grown the business and not lost the business, because I would have had somebody guiding me. But, you know, and I think I didn't come from a corporate background. I'm more akin to Rina in the sense that I fell out of a place. And apologies for that.
We've had dogs barking. We had kids shouting. I actually texted my teenager just before, don't shout when you come home because I am live. So that is all what we do here. I'm glad you're, as we said in the post, that you have clothes on, Kenneth. So.
Yes. Well, I'm dressed from the part that is on the camera. We'll just leave that. So when we don't have anybody to talk to, which is what I'm finding I love personally about LinkedIn, but any community that's digital, if we can talk to each other, people like Reno who are sitting there going, I'm stuck in a business. I don't know much about a business. Who do I talk to? Notice the word who. Who do? Mm-hmm. And great. You don't need to know the questions. I mean, don't worry about the answers, because the answers are, I mean, one answer leads to a whole bunch of other questions. But somebody like me, I've got coaches. I've got business mentors. I talk to them. They smack me on the head repeatedly because I'm a slow to learn person, which is why I don't have a lot of hair, because I keep running into the wall. But in that process, I learn how to talk, how to understand. And sometimes you have a conversation and the person you're talking to, you can see they're stuck. You can see the pain, but you can also see they don't know what to say. And then because I've had a lot of who's come through me, I can now, and I try a different question, and hopefully that sparks a thought, an answer, a direction, and solves a problem. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the key thing is who's in your network? Who are we bumping into? I mean, honestly, I'm a South African in England talking to a Swede in Switzerland. right? I got that right, eh? Yes.
Yes.
And pre-COVID, this wouldn't have happened.
No.
The acceptance for this wouldn't have happened. But now, and again, it's the community, your community, my community. We're talking, we're learning. I'm out there every day going, how do I do this? And when I start saying how, my other side of the brain comes up and it says, who? I mean, okay. I almost want to put an owl on my monitor. So when I start going owl, I go, who? Right.
Exactly. Just a simple example, because I definitely want to touch on that service that you have offers. But the simple example was that when I joined my business coach, she used StreamYard. I used StreamYard to go live. That is the. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of dropped somehow. Anyways, she used this platform to go live, and I was like, oh my God, that looks so cool, and that looks so professional, and they can pull in the comments, and that seemed like, wow, seems so complicated. I don't think I could do that. So some senses, and it's a super easy to use tool. In some sense, it's just to try it out, do it. I mean, and it's so easy to set it up and to do it. Sometimes we just have to do things. But the service that I wanted to quickly, because there is another real important piece of the puzzle that I also wanted to bring up now that I have you here, because I know that you have a lot of experience with this too. And that is when I quit my corporate job, I was really lost, and I felt that my LinkedIn profile, not to speak about any other profile because they were not kind of like, they were non-existing at the time. And my LinkedIn profile looked so kind of like stiff, and I probably didn't even had any text in my about page. This was also pre-COVID. This was 2019. I didn't have a profile picture, and I wanted to have someone with knowledge to review this from their views and say, hey, Josefine, as you said before, let's have a chat and let's pull out, the good things about you. So I reached out to someone that I had seen, and I told her about, well, this is what I want. She didn't listen to what I wanted. She said, well, you can sign up with me for $2,000 and then you can use those sessions as you see fit. And at the time I had also never worked with a coach, so I had no clue what to expect or anything. As Rena said before, I didn't even know the questions, and why would I then pay $2,000 if I didn't even know the questions? I also reached out to someone else. I can't remember what she came back with, but also that didn't feel right? When I went to your about page, you actually have that offer in your about page even to say, we look at your LinkedIn profile or about page. I can't really remember what it was. And I think if I would have seen that back then, I would have said, that's it. You probably listened to enough questions to put that offer together.
So having been through exactly what you went through, I arrived on LinkedIn. I was lost on LinkedIn. One lady said, you can pay me £900 and we'll have a conversation. Like, whoa, I just want to meet and talk and see if you're the kind of person I want to engage with. And you're telling me I've got to pay you to talk to you.
Yeah, no. The same happened to a client of mine. Yeah, someone said, yeah, something like that.
I know you're in demand, and I know you think you are in demand, but you're not my kind of person, because I don't do that. I mean, I give a half an hour free as a courtesy, because how can I charge you for something? A, I don't know if I can help you. B, I don't know if I like you. And C, you don't know if you like me. So yeah. I'm not going to do that. And I went through about 5 different LinkedIn professionals before I find this gentleman called Miles Duncan, who said to me, hey, let's have a chat. I was floored. And we had a conversation, pretty much like you and I. It went from a 15-minute chat to a 3-hour chat. We resonated, we got along. Guess what? I gave him money and I learned what he had to teach me. And that's when I kind of realized people hide their offer, they hide their value because they're afraid that they're too cheap, they're too expensive. I'm like, you know what? There's a book I'm reading called by Marcus Sheridan, is They Ask, You Answer. And the one thing everybody wants to know is, How much? And
Yeah.
it's not a complicated equation. You put your price up, you put your offer, this is what you get. People go, I can afford that. Let's talk. Or they go, I can't afford that. I'll come back. And they leave. You've already disqualified people that don't fit. You've qualified people that do fit. And then did your profile, and this is Instagram's the same. They're all the same. Does your profile generate curiosity? Does your profile make people excited about you? Do people feel like they know you once they've been exposed to your profile? And then do they want to see how much and can they talk to you? Whatever your service is, did you do that? And that exercise that I've just done with you is probably 24 months worth of learning, and me going to talk to people thinking, oh, they're amazing. And then realizing, no. And that offer came about because I realized people want to know something, and I'm happy to share knowledge. I believe in pay it forward, because a lot of people, I mean, that saying of we stand on the shoulders of giants, I wouldn't know what I know if other people hadn't given me the chances they gave me. So I'm happy to work with entrepreneurs, corporate transitions, because they all sit in a place where, I mean, I've had to start my own business, close my own business, start my own business. I know this is recording, so I'm going to I had to dodge the tax man once upon a time in another country. So I get all the nuances, the good and the bad. And a lot of what I've learned comes back to who. And a lot of what I've learned, and now I kind of chuckle when people say, I'll do it myself. I'm going, okay. So would you read a book on heart surgery and then go and perform heart surgery on yourself? No. But you think that when you go to social media, or when you think you go to digital, or when you think you go to your brand or your business online, well, I can read a book and it's done. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning every day. If you're not in the space, find a who that lives in the space, especially if it's a dynamic space. But I think it's in America, they've got the Geek Squad or Nerds on Call. And they were asked a question once, why do you put everything, all your tech advice for free, not behind a paywall, on your website? And the guy said, the people who try it themselves are our best customers. And you can ask anybody who's ever tried to do their own plumbing. When you break it, you break it properly. And then the plumber comes in, what could have been a 5-minute exercise is now we're going to pull out the whole bathroom, do the wall, do the tiles, clean up the water, and whatever else you've messed in the process. So cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Or you could just go, hey, you're a who, I like you, you like me. This is what success looks like for me. Can we match?
Yeah.
And then be clear about it. I mean, that's why I put the offer on the table. Sorry, I have a problem to sit still. It just doesn't work. I know.
It's okay. You know, when you said that about the plumber, I just realized that I actually had our tumbler is not working, so he should have been here this afternoon. He hasn't showed up. I don't know where he is. I need to figure that out first. And I think that is also really, really important. Don't forget to follow up with the people once you have. Now we're kind of mixing kind of hiring help and how you should be as a business owner, but I think that is so important to how you want to be, how you want to react, or how you want to do business, how you want to be sold to. I mean, I would never hire these kind of let's talk for 7 minutes and you will have 1,500 leads in your inbox or whatever it is, you know, because I guess that is how they would then acquire clients for me too. And that is not how I want to be sold to, right? So to do whatever feels good for you, to react the same way. Also, you know, I had a coffee chat with someone and she was like, yeah, she had these coffee chats the last week and the people, they just wanted to sell to her the whole time and it felt so awkward. And then she started asking questions. She obviously had questions. She obviously had problems. And I was like, to my husband afterwards, no wonder that people tried to sell to her, because they saw that she had problems, or she told them about her problems, and that they could help her, right? And then it's also if you are in the space that you and I are in, do you invest in yourself? Do you invest in time or spending time? Well, if you don't, can you really then expect others to invest in you? That's kind of like a little bit the whole point too, because then you don't really believe in the effectiveness of any service.
No, and the saying is, learning is earning. And the more you learn, the more your brain distills that knowledge and brings it forward to other people that you can help them and help them grow quicker. And it's still, and I just, that's why the who for me is so important, because when I talk to you, who are you? What are you going to teach me? What am I going to learn? And sometimes what I'm going to learn is that my thoughts are disjointed because you're clear, crystal clear, I'm not. Sometimes I'm going to learn that following up on people, both, whether they're a prospect or a service provider, relationships. And I've joined a group called Constant Conversations. And the whole objective there is to have a conversation, find out about the other person, but not once mention your company or your product. Now you try that as just a normal exercise. Sit down with somebody that you've just met, have a 15-minute conversation, but don't talk about your business and what you do. And you'll see how people go, they've forgotten the art of conversation. And I mean, talking to you, do I know that you've got children? Yes. Do I know where you live? Do I know that you're married? Why? Because I asked. And
I probably told you to.
Yeah, and people love volunteering information. So,
yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't mean that I need to start selling to you. And if somebody's asking questions, answer their questions, help them resolve that in their head. And I mean, it's sales 101. If you are the guide that solves their problem, when they need to spend money, the first person they talk to is the person that solved their problem, not the first person who pitched them and sold them. Because you and me are going to do the same thing. We're going to walk the other way. We're going to go find somebody else, and we're going to find another who and another who.
Yeah, I actually, one thing that really annoys me is, because I really like to hold a conversation with people too. And when, you ask someone something in a DM, for example, and you just feel it in your bones that that person is trying to hook you, you just feel it. So I ask them a question back, and they avoid replying to that question. And that is for me such a no-go. I mean, that is no. If you and I are going to work together in whatever capacity, it has to be a two-way street. It's not one, where you dodge any question I might have. How is your business going, Kenneth? And you're like, I don't know, whatever they come up with the replies because they dodge the questions, right?
I want to read you so I get these all day, every day on LinkedIn. These messages that are, I want to connect with you. Okay. And, I noticed you were attending, when the connection request starts with, I noticed you were attending and I see we share. I'm like, you haven't liked any of my content. You haven't had a conversation with me anywhere outside of that circle. But you think the easy way to hit your numbers is to pitch me before you even know me.
Yeah.
And then I go through the whole thing. And right at the end is, they've done this really fancy, can I send you more, to hook me and pull me further in. And I do LinkedIn profiles. Okay, that's what I do. I coach people. I help people with LinkedIn profiles, and it amazes me when I'm propositioned by people who are trying to grow a business doing LinkedIn profiles. Granted, there's space for everybody, but they've got 50 followers. They've got 150 connections, and they're propositioning me using automated solutions. And I'm going, show me, you know me, take the time. Hi. I mean, we started chatting. How did we connect? we started commenting on each other's comments on somebody else's conversation. And well, now we're having a live chat together. That's how we build friends. That's how we build community. Rena, I just love what she does with words, because Sumbrella, we've had a whole conversation about that, and a couple of other things. So we always, I like to chat to people. When I get pitched like that, if it's in message box, I decline it. I don't even connect with the person. But some of them connect with me first. I look at their profile. They look like a prospect. I accept it. And then they pitch me. They pitch me cryptocurrency. And I think cryptocurrency has its place. But seriously, you're posing as a wellness coach. Thank you. Statistics for sadists. And you're talking to me about wellness, and then suddenly you want to have a conversation and sell me cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
My reply is generally one of two, depending on my mood. If my mood is good, I will go and find their sales manager on LinkedIn, and I will connect with him and say, look, if you need training on Sales Navigator and LinkedIn, please speak to me, because clearly your people don't know what they're doing. If I'm really annoyed, I've got a 400-page document that is open, Control A, C, V, and I reply with all my services in it. So you want to tell me, I'm just going to throw you everything. Literally throw the book back at you. They don't carry on the conversation. I'm like, they're exactly cryptos. I like, really, guys? So,
and girls. I've been pitched by girls too. Cryptos, girls too. So it's not only crypto bros, it's crypto sisses.
yeah, crypto girls.
Yeah, you and I have a little bit of a different. You're harder in accepting the kind of like people that you accept into your network. I'm a bit more open, but I've actually, and I do block seldom, but I do block. There was one guy, a fitness instructor, and I had actually looked at his profile, seemed very genuine, seemed very open, and then his first crypto chicks, Rena says.
Crypto chicks. Rena.
And he then immediately, I think he was definitely like one of these, robo people who had, when you send something, bam, you get a reply back immediately. And then his reply was, do you want to have freebie A or freebie B? And I was like, thank you, but no, thank you. I'm not really interested. And then the return answer was, oh, here you get freebie Z. I mean, come on, like really. And I then was a little bit cheeky and said, I think you would actually need some guidance from me. And then I blocked him, more or less. Exactly. Yeah. It's a
click funnel.
Yeah.
And that's what they do, is they have a whole series of questions. Clearly, I have it at hand because I study that to see how it works. And, when they do put you into a click funnel and they start taking you through the click funnel, and, it's automated, the replies are too quick. The whole point of social media is community and social.
Yeah.
You don't take people to a barbecue and pour them a glass of wine and start pitching. That's what social is about. And unfortunately, LinkedIn is lumped in as social, where it's not. But I mean, Facebook, people are not talking to us. They're not building community. I joined tribes, and my tribes, and yes, I am a bit harder to let people in now, because I've realized if I'm not selective about who comes into my tribe, LinkedIn is not selective about who they put in my newsfeed.
Yeah.
So now only people that I feel are influencers or accelerators or relevant to my space, I want to talk. Thank you. Exactly. And I wouldn't say you don't ask them to marry. There's a word, there's what I would say that results in a slap. But that's so typical. We use the example, and I read it today again. People are complaining about this pitch slap because they keep getting pitched. And again, do the new people who come onto any social platform not get the message? Build relationships. Mm-hmm. There's a lady, Sam Sells. Next to her name, she's got the acronym SYMB. Show me you know me. I think I got those letters wrong. Rena's going to correct me.
Rena, can you please put that in? I'm just kidding.
So
Love having you on the show, Rena, by the way. It feels like we have a third member in the
we do.
She's
asking, so, show me you know me. It's a courtesy, you know. If I know you and you know me, we have a conversation. What to say?
She said, to be honest, when Josephine said, the guy asked her, do you want to have, I thought that word was going to come next. No. He was in a relationship. So he wasn't sleazy or anything. He was just that he had this automation in his messenger, which made me say, no, this is not going to take any further. So they don't need to be sleazy or salesy. It's also, you know, someone teaches that, you know, that when you connect with someone, especially on Facebook, actually, that they can pitch you immediately, join my Facebook group, or I have a free workshop on losing weight, or I've even been asked, I've been married for more than 20 years. Do you want to find the love of your life? Well, check out my profile first, please. You know, it's like happily married, exactly. So I mean, these are the things, but these must work, you know. But they are then focusing on quantity, not quality, right? So they just want to get these out. And one lady actually hit me on one of these bad days where I said, you know what, if you would have checked out my business profile, you would have seen that I'm a business mentor, and I would honestly advise you to not kind of pitch your workshops before you actually get to know the people. And then I was like, because I said, by giving you unsolicited advice like this, I probably make you feel exactly the same way that you felt when you asked me when I think it was, I don't know, I think it was a manifestation or whatever workshops you wanted me to join. I can't remember. And that's the thing, right? People, that's unsolicited advice when they invite us to all of these different things. They have no clue what we are, who we are, in what relationship we are, if any, or how our businesses look like. Get to know the people, because you want to have a long-term relationship with them too, don't you? I mean, I'm not asking you now, Kenneth. I know you do. I was just getting fired up here.
I please get fired up, because the community needs to kick back to people who treat social communities as a free-for-all spam market. It's a churn and burn. You know, how many numbers can we get out? I get pitches where they say, I can give you 15 new hot leads a day. I know I'm a good salesman. If you gave me 15 leads a day, I'd be retired in 6 months. If you can generate that kind of business, why are you still working? Because I know if I got 15 leads a day, I would close 10. And if I close 10 deals every day for the next 6 months, I'm out of here. I mean, I'm going to make too much money. And like they're always just, it's a quick, easy win. There are no shortcuts. I know I say I'm lazy. We had the whole lazy conversation, but there are no shortcuts. I'm lazy because I'll take the direct route, but you can't drink a pill and get a six-pack. You can't count your calories and get a six-pack. You can lose weight, but you still, so it's all about balance. And I learned that, again, I keep bringing it back, because my mantra is who, not how. And then it's followed up with who is on the bus. Are the who's on the bus my kind of who's? I mean, having a conversation with you is awesome. I mean, we've started with one direction, and you can see we've spiraled, but it's all about growing business, engaging with people. And, you know, we don't want to be sold to. We want to buy from people that we resonate, that we engage with. And a lot of people are like, I don't have time to give away a free hour. Really? How much time do you spend prospecting? I've got a book that I read called Fanatical Prospecting, and a lot of companies and a lot of individual people who are battling in their business are going, I do a lot of prospecting, until you make notes. They've done 8 calls for the day, or they've reached out to 8 people. Well, you've got 8 hours of work time. And in that time, you've managed to prospect one person an hour. And you're wondering why you don't have enough business. Again, who? Speak to somebody like you who can get their mindset right, coach them down to grow that business, and then speak to me so I can get your profile to look right. Because, Canva is great, but it's like saying, here's a camera. If you compose a shot with 13% of light and you use the golden section, you're going to get the perfect composition. Point, click, and shoot. No, a photographer has an eye. A creative person has an eye. A captain who's been sailing a oil tanker for 30 years, he has a feel for that ship. He knows how it moves. I'm a dance instructor. People chuckle at me. They can't believe I'm a dance instructor. I love ballroom dancing. And when you get onto the dance floor, not every woman that I dance with feels the same. So some women I need to be firm when we do the tango or the waltz. And some women I can just gently with my hands into the moves. And it's all about, are you good in that space or not? If you're not, find a who. Sorry, I'm lecturing, but I suppose.
I think that was really good. And we have been going on for almost,
41 minutes.
41 minutes now. And I would actually want to round this up. So, Kenneth.
Yes, ma'am.
So that people can connect with you and that you accept their connection, how should they reach out to you and where can they connect with you the best?
Drop your name.
My name.
Your name in the connection request.
Drop my name.
Yeah. Anybody who drops your name, I'll automatically accept their connection. If they're part of your community, I'm happy to join them. And anybody who drops your name and says, I want my 30-minute free session, happy. I do a digital audit. They can find me on LinkedIn. They can use my name. It's there on the screen. Or they can use the digital coach. And I will accept them as long as it's somebody that you know or somebody that says they know you.
Yeah. Kenneth is also in our Facebook group. He's in our community. So you can actually connect with Kenneth there too. If you are in the community, if you are in the Facebook group, the Online Entrepreneurs Community, comment underneath this post or any post or whatever. Shout out, Kenneth, I'm here. I want to connect with you. Or else connect with Kenneth in LinkedIn using my name, Josefine Warner. And let me just pull out Rena's comment here.
Or say you're from the East Rand. If you're Benoni or the East Rand, you're connected by hands down default.
So you could probably also mention Rena's name if you want to connect with Kenneth. But I would love it if you also connect with me if we're not yet connected. Also follow me on YouTube so that I get more than my 30. I think it was 34. I would love to have 35 by the end of today. It's Josefine Warner on YouTube too. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for being here, for taking the time to show up, to share your brilliance with us and to show who you are, and that it's actually really easy to connect with people. We just have to show who we are and just show up as ourselves. So thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure, Josefine. Thank you for giving me the time. And I dare say that conversation was great. The one that led to this, I really appreciate you inviting me. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with anybody who, especially if they're from the East Rand, wants to have a chat.
I now have 35 followers. Okay, so we're aiming for the 30. I was actually thinking maybe I should start kind of like an easy membership, how to set up your YouTube channel. But then I was like, who would want to connect with me? But maybe you want, because you said you only had 3.
I will connect with you. So
exactly. So let's do it. Yeah, we'll see. So please connect with me on YouTube too. It's Josefine Warner on YouTube. Oh, and Rena is also on that membership. Yeah. I don't speak any French though. Swedish, German, English. We have someone else. Thank you for this conversation. I like the 50 minutes conversation without using your business name or talking about what you do for work. That's easy for me. People always want to speak about themselves. Just sit back and listen. Yeah, my business mentor my coach mentor actually said to me, he was at a wedding once and he didn't speak a word. to the lady who sat next to him. And afterwards, she had said, that was the best conversation I've had in my whole life. So sometimes, Rena is my 35th. So thank you so much, Rena. And thank you everyone for being here. Connect with us. It's Josefine Warner. It's Kenneth. You find us anywhere. Mention me, mention Kenneth, and we are open to have a chat with you guys. So I will end this broadcast now. Thank you so much.